Well, hello everyone, and thank you for joining another episode of Real Estate and Money. My name is Tina Lombard. I am one of the hosts.
And I'm her co-host, Violeta Strash with Coldwell Banker Danforth.
Yes, and it's so good to see you today. We've got a very important topic we're talking about. We're going to be talking about adult care homes. And what is that? What kind of people are we talking about that need
Well,
adult care?
it's never an easy thing to do to have a
Hmm.
loved one moved into a facility where they have most likely 24/7 care.
Hmm.
And I had my father-in-law before he passed away, he swore, I'm not moving out of my house. That's where their heart is, their home.
Hmm.
And to move them from there, he says, you're going to have to put me in a box and or kicking and screaming out of here. I'm not going. But sometimes it's safer for them not to be at home because he had visiting angels,
Hmm.
which is
Yes.
a group that comes out. You hire these people, they come out and they assist you or your loved one to do their everyday things and or
Hmm.
be a companion.
Hmm.
And he had someone come during the day to play cards, to talk to watch TV with him. But at night, you know what? When these people go away, if there's no one living at the house except your, in my case, father-in-law, he has fallen out of bed just to go to the bathroom and they hurt themselves. And,
Hmm.
some elderly, you buy them those bracelets or necklace where they can summon help real quick. They don't
Hmm.
do it. They have it sitting on a table somewhere else, or they just
Yeah.
don't want to wear the bracelet and they have no means to get help.
Hmm.
And my father-in-law fell one too many times, broke his arm or whatever, nose. So it was no longer safe for him. And in a lot of cases, your loved one um, to be at home or unassisted, and you need to get them to a place. So there's options out there for assisted care living. And actually, I even with my mom, she had to be in rehab and after surgeries, and so she went into a facility where it gradually changes for you based on your needs. So she went in for rehab, but then there's uh, partially assisted care living there and then full assistance in another section. So there are places like that. And there's some that are for dementia, memory care places that where, you have a loved one that wanders off in the middle of the night. And I had a cousin that went into a facility. He had dementia and he was thinking he needed to leave. He needed to go. He was in the military, so he needed to pack his backpack and get out. He had a
Yeah.
mission, right? And they're wandering off in the middle of the night. And sometimes these homes, adult care home he was in, they don't have security in the middle of the night watching where people are going. So, yeah, there are a lot of instances where of a family, a relative, your immediate family that needs help. So assisted care is out there for you. And my brother himself had a stroke. He went into an adult family home. Now, there are a lot of these adult family homes all over the
Yeah.
place, and run by, I know a number of them are run by Filipinos because our community, and I'm sure a lot of them, he's in a Kenyan facility,
Yes.
people
Yes.
from Kenya, and a lot of these communities, they love helping those in need,
Hmm.
and they're caring people. They have the patience, and in our community, the Filipino community, it's nice to have someone in a home
Hmm.
where they cook the foods
Yes.
you're familiar. with, and they speak the language.
That's right.
So, it's important to have that kind of a match when you're looking for an adult family home. And I
Right.
was lucky to find someone to take care of my brother. And but there's a lot of homes out there. I was selling a home last year, and in this little community in Lakewood, there were five family homes in that little tiny community of maybe 50 to 100 homes. But a lot of people that came to my open houses were people
Yes.
looking for another family home to add to their list.
Yes. Right. Well, here's the thing, there's so many of us that are going to be turning, what did they say? There's people turning 10,000 people turning 100 every day or something in the United States, and
Wow.
there are a lot of people, and just like my mother too, my mother and my father both, we're not going anywhere. You're not going to kick me out of my house, and
Yeah.
so, but then, they fall or they get sick and they really do need care. I know for a while there, my father was taken care of by my mother, but there's just so much you
Mhm.
can do. And so
Yes.
eventually he had to go into a home. And thank God it was a lady, it was a Filipino home. And he was familiar with the food. They actually had him do karaoke every single day because he loved to sing. So he was singing, he was singing like crazy all day. And we'd come over and they'd sing. But we were very blessed to find a home where it felt like family to him. But a
Yes.
lot of times, and there's no shame in that, a lot of times people need care and the children are adults and they have kids of their own that they're taking care of. So they cannot be there 24/7. And so these adult facilities, they're very, very necessary and needed, and more are needing to be available to people. And like Violeta said, sometimes it's whole communities. I know my community here, all their kids went to school at the same time. All the kids graduated from college. All the kids moved out. Then everybody's selling their homes because it's a whole generation of different things. But there are some neighborhoods where people love the neighborhood and they've been there for 30, 40 years. They're not moving, but these people want care facilities by where they live, where they worship, and where they used to work. So it's very important. And a lot of these facilities, a lot of people are saying, "Listen, I don't want to leave my family somewhere," and they're treated harshly. They're getting poor nutrition, and it's not somewhere I want to leave my parents. Well, a
Hmm.
lot of these places, my sister's an inspector, but a lot of these places they are inspected by the government. Not only is the place are the walls okay, is the shelter okay, but they look at the menu. They want to make sure that there's the specific food for a certain patient. Also, that they have activities. And so a lot of these places they do activities. They do get in a van and they go shopping and they do different things. And so it actually is a better lifestyle for people, whether they have memory care or maybe they're just elderly and they are as quick as a whip when it comes to their intelligence. But they want to get out and they want to move. And when they're at home by themselves, they cannot do that. They have to take care of this, take care of that. Maybe some of them even have pets or something, but they're not as mobile. But a lot of times when they do go into an adult facility, they're going places or meeting people. There's people that they're living with, and they're living an active lifestyle. So there's no shame in that. And V, I've got a lot of friends, and I've done a lot of loans for people who actually have adult care facilities.
Yeah.
And it started by them taking care of their mom or taking care of their father, and then they took care of somebody else. And then before you know it, they have an adult care facility. And they loved it. They become attached to taking care of these people, and they love it, and it's a lifestyle. Then they start wanting to buy more houses. So
Hmm.
V, so you've sold to houses to people who actually had adult care before, correct?
Yeah. Yeah. And, a lot of them, we've talked about this before, but a lot of them are in the medical fields.
Hmm.
They've
Yes.
decided, too much. I'm a nurse. I'm, getting overwhelmed here at the hospital. I want to take care of a few people, and I know what I'm doing. I have my
Hmm.
license. I think I want to open up a facility to help the
Right.
community. And
Yes.
in a lot of cases, um, people in the medical profession don't have time to be looking for a home. So they
Hmm.
look to someone like me to say, can you find me in this particular area? See, most of the time they're um, ramblers because they
Hmm.
don't want to have
Up and down the
patients going up
stairs.
and down the stairs unless they have
Hmm.
an elevator, so they want help with finding the facility while they are gathering more caregivers to
Hmm.
help. in each of the homes. But is it hard these days, Tina, to get a loan for someone who's a nurse and who wants to start in
Yeah.
this arena of running a adult care home?
Yes, well, I'm so glad you asked. Okay, we've got new loans out there, after COVID and
Oh,
stuff, and the rates, started doing different things, and so a lot of lenders had to be creative in how they lent and what type of programs that were out there. But we do have facilities now where you can actually get an adult family care. It's 25% down, which is awesome. On approved credit, of course, but 25% down, and there is no income. So we don't look at tax returns, we don't look at 1099s, we don't look at your expenses, we don't have a tally of what you made and what your expenditures are. It actually is a true no doc loan. You have 25% you put down on a house. And so
wow.
a lot of times in the past, V, I had these clients who came up to me and they wanted to buy an adult family care, whatever. I had just to do a loan on a house. And if they want to convert it later on, they can convert later on. Because when you do have a facility, you've got ramps people put in. Sometimes they modify the doors,
Right.
so the doors are wider. Sometimes the windows have to be a certain length. They can't be a certain height. And so there's all these different things in the modification of a home to make it a true adult care facility for safety reasons. And so if
Uh-huh.
I had somebody who had an adult care home and they said, Tina, I wanted to refinance, I couldn't do it. If there was a sign that said adult family care or there's, everything has been modified, it's actually a commercial business. It actually was considered commercial.
Oh,
So it's because you're running a business out of it.
yes.
Now, in some cases, you had people who bought a house and then they converted it. And so as long as they bought the house as primary residence and blah, 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 blah. A lot of people did that. They would like be a nurse or something along the side and they had a
Right.
house. They were taking care of somebody. They actually bought another house that they can live in. And they can get, and then this can run it as a operations, what have you. And then they said, okay, I'm out here. They bought another house. And then this house, they turned it into an adult care. And I did stuff like, bank statement loans, or state income loans, whatever, and I got them those homes. But still, it's kind of like it's not for sure you're going to get the home if you have good credit and money down. Because if it's an adult care facility, what if you want to buy an adult care facility? You buy a house with 8 rooms and there's ramps and there's modifications in the doorways and everything. If you
Mhm.
have that, what if you want to buy that? Well, me as a lender, I couldn't really do that because it's modified. It's now not no longer residential. It is a commercial property. You need to go SBA, you need to go somewhere else. And a lot of times clients just throw up their hands. They're like, it's just too much. I just too much. And so a lot of times when you do have businesses, as everybody knows, you've got your income, your gross
Mhm.
sales, then you have your expenditures. Well, a lot of times people have very crafty accountants, and their expenditures are almost as much as they make. So it looks like, when they make $800,000 a year, it looks like they made $37,000 in that year. So they can never
Yep.
really get a loan. So, but however, these facilities are going up. They're profitable. People who own them have got great credit. They're pillars in the community. So now there are loans out there. If you want an adult family care home, put 25% down. And of course, they look at the operations of the house and so on and so forth. There's going to be an appraisal. A lot of normal things would apply, things that you would have to go through with a normal house. But now you got 25%, let's go. A lot of my people, my clients who've got adult family care homes, they have a lot of cash stashed away. And a lot of them, they lend it to other people. A lot of
Hmm.
them, they have cousins that are in it or they have sisters in it. They say, listen, I'll give you $180,000. Just buy another house. And that's also allowed to actually give gifts. So they're a very tight-knit community and they understand the challenges of financing as an adult care owner. But now, if you got somebody 25% down and they want to open up, they want to buy a facility, they want to refinance their facility and get another home, those loans are available. So, get out, talk with me, talk to Violeta. You'd be surprised. Sometimes when people say, yeah, I want 5 bedrooms because I got 5 kids. We're the Waltons. I got 5 kids. And they have these houses. But nowadays, people aren't having 4 or 5 kids.
Right.
Okay. People have one or two. Those kids get out of here at college and they never come back. Right. So the grandkids don't live in the house. They never bounce back. So
Yeah.
there are a lot of houses on the market, that have 5 bedrooms, 6 bedrooms, 8 bedrooms, four.
Yeah.
And believe it or not, these houses are cheaper because people don't want them. I mean, you get this one
Right.
person, every now and then they're like, oh yeah, I want to put a yoga room there. I'm going to have a theater room there. I'm going to have a crafts room there. Yeah, you get one of those people. But in the whole grand scheme of things, a lot of houses in the past have had 4 or 5 bedrooms or plus. And these houses are not desirable anymore because people don't want to, they don't want to take care of six bedrooms. And they don't want that house
Exactly.
anymore. So
Yeah.
if you're thinking about going into adult care, you've got equity in your house right now, and maybe you are taking care of a parent or a cousin or somebody, and you're like, listen, I'm sitting at home anyhow. Let me take care of somebody else. And there's different degrees. There's people with memory care, there's people with dementia, Alzheimer's, or people who are rehabbing from a knee surgery, but
Hmm.
others people who are just elderly and they just cannot run around their house and they're perfectly
Hmm.
fine, and you can say, hey, listen, I want to take these type of clients, and this, and it's government. I mean, the pay is good, right? But it's not
Yeah.
only just the pay. There are people out there that need this. So, a lot of people in your church, a lot of people in your family, a lot of people in your neighborhood that really do need adult care. And so, these loans, not only are they very viable, they're very important because we are watching a shift of the baby boomers going into that age where they need adult care. So
Yeah.
those are very easy, V. And it's just like my mother was taking care of people. We were taking care of her, and there's all types of there's people who've gone through surgery and they need rehab, like you said, and they're there for
Hmm.
only a short while,
Hmm.
and they're the people who, they've got another 12 years, they're kicking around, they're doing their stuff, but they really just cannot be at home. They really
Right.
can't be at home. And so these are very viable. Now, is it scary? I don't think it's scary. Every time I go in there, they're singing, something's going on. Somebody's eating, somebody's singing, something's going on,
Yeah.
but it's a much needed thing. And so, V, what areas would you say if somebody were to look for an adult home? What are some prime areas in Washington they could look at?
Well, in what I'm familiar with, wherever there's a good amount of single-story homes.
Hmm.
So, here in Federal Way, there's a number of them, and in the Lakewood area of Tacoma, like across from the military bases, there's a lot of homes there. Oak Brook also down there, but it's technically or generally areas that have a good amount of single-story homes. And I know there's not a
Yes.
lot of those, maybe Auburn. Oh, so they tend to be older neighborhoods, but they have to upgrade them. Um,
Right.
like you said, you mentioned before, inspectors will have to come out there um,
Hmm.
to make sure everything is to code for
Hmm.
accessibility and safety, all that. And there's um, Lake City, a lot of areas. Did I say Auburn? I know there's some in Kent. There is probably a lot everywhere. You just don't know. You go by someplace and you'll see a ramp that zigzags up to the front door. Typically, it's for someone that lives there that is wheelchair bound, or if it's a single story, probably, those have 3 to 4 bedrooms. It's probably an adult care facility.
Yes. And
And
yes.
yeah, and if they're retrofitting things,
Hmm.
I go around and I'm going, oh, hey, Mr. Construction dude, is the family here? Are they moving? Are they selling their house? Sometimes the answer is no, they're getting it ready for to turn it into an adult family home. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, okay.
Right.
Marine
No.
Hills by your sister's area. Yeah,
Yes.
there's a lot of them there too.
Yes, and then they're usually in developed areas, because
Yeah,
they are a lot of developed areas have got yards a lot bigger, with the lack of room for housing, a lot of the yards got smaller, the houses got smaller, and they went up. So there's a
yeah.
lot of we call it tall skinnies, and so a
Mm-hmm.
lot of neighborhoods have that, and that's not really a neighborhood to look for. But like you're saying, the older houses, old development, a lot of people not only do they still have family there and they have their church there,
Yeah,
they're comfortable there. They're older developed neighborhoods. And they do
yeah.
have the ranch style. We call it a ranch style, one story. And they do have a
Mm-hmm.
yard. You want to have a yard if you do have an adult care, so they can actually have your residents come out there and have some sun.
Right,
But
exactly.
and a lot of times, like Dee was saying, you can go into a house, you can retrofit it, you can renovate it. So, but you cannot renovate the size of the yard or the plan of the house, So
Yeah.
those older developments, those older areas, and they're really nice, like Stillicum, Lakewood, the
Mm-hmm.
Bridgeport, the whole area, those are good places. It's usually centered around
Yeah,
churches. A lot of them are centered around churches
exactly. And
communities
or hospitals
and
too,
hospitals. Yes, they're close to their
Yeah.
doctors. Hmm. But I
Yeah.
mean, if you're out there, if you're out there, if you're a nurse, anesthesiologist, what have you. A lot of the homes that I did, there was a nurse in the family,
Mm-hmm.
or there's somebody in the healthcare in the family, a doctor or somebody was in healthcare. And if you're looking to say, hey, listen, I'm married to this person, that person, and I am accessible parts of the day. I can run a facility. Let's look at it. A lot of times, these places you hire people to watch your residents. It's not just
Yes.
you. It's not just you.
Oh, yeah.
You hire people, and the hours that you can work, great, but the hours that you don't work or you cannot work, you have somebody that comes in there. A lot of times, people will trade rent for
Yes.
working hours there. So a lot of times, these adult
Yeah.
care will have somebody who lives there and they work there, and that's their pay
Yeah.
or
And I was
benefit.
going to mention that too. So if you are a caregiver or
Mhm,
a nurse and you want to do some extra time, making some extra money, like Tina said, in my brother's case, in the adult family home he's in, the caregivers, there's
mhm,
usually two, 24/7.
mhm,
Because some of those people need two people assisting them with all their needs. And
mhm,
so these caregivers will get free room and board,
mhm.
right? In,
Yeah.
in exchange for working at that adult care facility. And, there's a huge need for more caregivers.
Right.
Really. So if
Mhm.
you are in that position or you want to do that, come give me a call because I know of adult care homes that need caring, people, people or experienced caregivers that want to make a move to another part of town. Give me a call because there's always a need out there and I can place you wherever. And if
Yes,
you
yes.
are a current caregiver and you want to start running a facility, give me a call about that too, because I'll get you in touch with Tina. She'll tell you what she needs to get you started on the road to owning an adult care home. And
Right,
there's
right.
a lot out there.
Yeah, a lot of my clients that own adult cares, I've done like 3 or 4 houses with them. So every time they just call me up every time they want to know the house. And it's not, I'm saying it's lucrative. It is very lucrative,
It is.
but that's just a benefit from it. But these people, your clients, these patients, they really need help and they don't want to be in a hospital. Their family cannot, they don't necessarily want to be with their family,
Mm-hmm.
but they basically just need people to watch. You can go in there and say, hey, you can take out $100 or $200,000 and renovate that so it's retrofit for adult care and
Mm-hmm.
take on 1 or 2 other clients.
Okay.
And the thing is, because there's no equity in the house, you use the equity in the house as the down payment. Let's say
Okay.
the house is worth $2 million. Your parents owe nothing on it. We would have no problem giving you a loan for 500 up to 1.8 million.
Wow.
We've got enough equity. So if you're trying to purchase a brand new home, you need to bring cash. But if you're refinancing or if you're doing a home that you're already living in, we will use your equity as a down payment.
Awesome.
So it makes life a lot easier.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And they
So
get to stay in their home.
they get to
You're,
stay in their home.
yeah.
This is it. I know, and it becomes their home. You know what I'm saying? They decorate during Christmas time, there's Easter, you go there and, my mother was painting, my mother was drawing and she was coloring. My mother was doing all this kind of crafty stuff that she could not do when she was raising us. And then
Yeah.
afterwards, she was taking care of my father.
Uh-huh.
So, her friend actually was the one that owned the adult care. And it was the same way they took care of my father. But they were friends. My mother woke up and hung out with her friends basically.
Yeah.
So until she had passed, but so it's not it's an actually a very, very positive thing. And all the
Yeah.
Filipino clients that I know, I've known for years. I've done all their adult care homes. I mean, they're like the most patient people, most
Right.
patient
Oh, yeah.
clients. But they're just good people. You don't do this because you're doing it for the money. A lot of times you do it
Yeah.
because you care for people. You're like, since I'm taking care of people, why not get paid for it? Because I love doing this.
Yeah.
And it's easier. And V, if you're somebody that has a mortgage already, then you know the process. I mean, and it's easy. There's no reason why you can't take your healthcare to another level and just
Right.
have your own facility. Because we're short. You
Yeah.
think America is short on nurses? Oh my gosh, we are short on healthcare facilities. I'm gonna talk myself into doing this myself. I'm gonna talk myself into, but yeah, literally, it's a labor of love, but it's there's a lot of
Yes.
love in it. It's not like just pushing numbers. You actually get completely involved and engulfed with your clients, and it is it's a good thing. It's a very good thing. you know.
Yeah, we had the visiting angel come a lot of times, like I said, to watch TV, to play cards, to have conversations with my father-in-law, but most of all to keep him safe because he still loved to cook. And
Yes.
sometimes he doesn't remember to turn off the stove
Oh no.
or oven to burn the house down. So
Yes.
you want to make sure that they are safe, safe, safe from
Yes.
all that stuff.
And then talk about driving. One time my father, this is when we knew he needed care, but he went to go visit me in West Seattle. 3.5 hours, we couldn't find him.
Oh
So I had to
no,
drive up and down the street. Me and my husband had to drive up and down the street. We saw him on Colorado Avenue. And I'm sorry, California Avenue in West Seattle.
California. Yeah.
And we were like, stop. But that's when we knew he probably needed some further care. My mother couldn't take care of him. She wasn't a spring chick. She was up there in age two. So we
Yeah.
just knew something needed to be done because it would take them somewhere they didn't want to be.
And like
You
if
know.
your loved one is, a dead weight, you don't want to hurt yourself trying to lift that person off the
Mm-mm.
bed or off the wheelchair. You don't want to get
Mhm.
hurt yourself. So
Mhm.
better to let someone stronger, younger, that can help them with a lot of their needs. Take care
Yes.
of your loved
And a lot of
one.
times, these people have got these adult care facilities, they've got vans, they got cars
Hmm.
that are retrofitted, so they can take, whereas you can't
Yeah,
take your phone in your car because you can't get in and out. A lot of these
right.
places, they've got vans, they got equipment. They're like, hey, we're going to go to the park, let's go, and
Yeah.
they jump in and they go,
Yep.
So we've got about 2 more minutes left here. So V, any final thoughts or?
No, again, it is definitely a labor of love
Hmm.
for the
Yeah.
caregiver, for
Hmm.
anyone interested in starting in the business of adult family homes. But
Hmm.
there are a lot of options out there. But if you are wanting to do this, talk to Tina about financing and we can get you started. And I have people, her sister's an inspector. I have someone who's an inspector also. So they'll be able to tell you what it is you're going to need to retrofit a home.
Yes.
And if you can keep your loved one in their current home by doing these things and starting an adult care facility at that home, why
Hmm.
not? It
Absolutely.
benefits everybody. So there
Absolutely.
you go.
Yes. Yeah. So, anyways, don't forget to give us a call. My number is 253-332-5986 and V.
And my number is 206 406 5784, Coldwell Banker Danforth.
Yes. So we are looking forward to seeing you next time. Thank you so much for joining our
Okay.
show.
Thank you, everybody. We'll see you Tuesday, 2:30. Bye-bye.
Bye.